casual reader of the Bible. Good evening. Excuse me. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, everyone who has joined this webinar. We are not taking your time, your energy, your resources for granted. We appreciate what you have done so far by registering for this webinar. It's one of its kind. And the reason for this webinar is so simple. It is a model, about 3 to 4 models we have tested over 5 to 6 years. And we believe that this webinar, these models that we have tested has worked in the life of few co-parents that we have worked with. So we are so excited, glad, happy that what has worked with some parents, with some co-parents, is what we want to introduce. It's not something that we just want to try, over and over. No, we haven't tried. We have tried it and it has worked. So it is not a new product. It is a product that has worked in the life of people. So I want to welcome everybody joining us. In a few moments, I'm going to be bringing on my partner, Mrs. Fumi Oni, on board to join us because we are doing this together. So I want to congratulate everyone who have done this. So if you are joining us, you are likely exhausted. If you are a co-parent, you are likely exhausted from the tension. Yes, people are joining. Thank you, people who are already joining. So you're already exhausted. It's possible that you're exhausted. It is possible that you really want to work out. You are tired on walking on eggshells because of the challenges that you think you are going through in co-parenting. But I want to encourage you that don't give up yet. Don't give in yet on the struggles. We have suggested solutions, suggested models that every co-parent partner can work with. And I want you at this moment to take a deep breath right now because you are in the right place. My name is Akinropo Akinola. I am a family life specialist, a fatherhood and parenting development strategist. We have done this over and over again. I have several publications, several papers on co-parenting, papers on fatherhood, papers on family life that are really working. My weekly papers are there for everyone to really go through. So it is something that we know it's working, that we really want to show the public right here. Today is all about moving you from parallel to partner. We are not here to turn you into best friends. Of course not. It is not necessary for you, for those who are in co-parents, to be friends. That is not our goal. Our goal is here to turn you into effective business partners, effective co-parent business partners for the sake of your children, for the well-being of your children, for the emotional well-being of your children. So here is what you are going to learn in 60 seconds of this webinar. The first one I'm going to learn is co-parenting. So as you clearly see where you are right now. First, we look at the 3 stages of co-parenting so you can clearly see where you are right now. Regardless of where you are before, where you've been coming from before, never mind. You have not lost anything, right? The next one is we're going to give you a 3-sheet framework to start moving toward real collaboration starting this week. The third one, of course, yes, we're going to share powerful communication scripts you can use immediately to de-escalate tension if you are going through anyone in the house. Okay, so let's quickly have a quick housekeeping notes before we dive in, before I bring my partner on. This session is being recorded. It's being recorded. The session is being recorded. Then the replay, you can catch up the replay over and over again. It's going to be on our YouTube. So you can catch up, you can watch it. It's on demand. You can watch it as many times as you want. You can share it with people who are in co-parenting. So again, we want this to be interactive. Please drop your questions and comments in the live chat right now. We'll be answering them as many as we can towards the end of the webinar. It's within 6 minutes. 60 minutes, we are done. We don't really want to take your time. And if you have a notepad nearby, please get the notepad ready because we are covering a lot of golden nuggets in this meeting. So right now, to get us started, I want you to drop a 1 in the chat if you feel like you are constantly fighting. If you feel you are constantly fighting, drop 1. 2, if you barely speaking and just coexisting. If you barely speaking with your co-parent, please drop 2. Or you are just coexisting, drop 2. Then drop 3 if you actually feel like a team with your co-parents. These are my favorite people. Everyone is my favorite, but I like it more if you are truly not just existing, but you are collaborating. If you actually feel like a team with your co-parent, drop 3. So let me give you a few seconds to go through this. I'm here, I'm going to be reading. Oh, wow, I'm quite reading now. So please, let's keep it coming while I reach out for Mrs. Fumioni, who is going to be a co-host in this meeting today. Oh, Mrs.
Good
Fumioni.
evening.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, ma. 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 Good evening, ma.
Good
So,
evening.
Mrs. Fumioni, good evening, well done. So, please, before I begin to share the slide for the delight of the receptiveness of our people watching this, participating in this webinar. So, can you please quickly describe yourself, a few work that you do? This should have been
Okay.
done before now, but it's still not late though.
Never mind. Thank you so much. I think it's a huge privilege for me to be on this platform this evening. Thank you so much for having me. A little bit about myself. Excuse me. I am a psychotherapist, and I have been working in that space for um, almost 20 years now. And I am a relationship coach as well, and been a relationship coach for about 11 years, based here in the UK. I am a member of the British Association of Psychotherapists and another renowned organization. I am an author. I have written a couple of books around mental health and mental well-being. And I have also authored a book called Harmony, how to deal with conflict in relationships and marriages. Yeah, and I'm passionate about the well-being of the whole body, the mind, spirit, and soul. I'm a Christian. I'm a mother to 2 teenage boys, and yeah. But above that, I am a child of God, and I believe that God is interested in our minds, our spirit, soul, and our bodies, especially our relationships. Yeah, so that's me. Thank you once again for having me.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Fumi Oni. So let's deep dive straight into the content of the day. So I'm going to be sharing the content now. Can you see this?
Yes, I can.
Okay, let's go. Let's go, ma.
Right. Okay. So I'm going to kickstart this conversation on, how we move from parallel to partner and with respect to co-parenting, how we move from conflict, to having a more collaborative form of co-parenting. But before I dive into the how, I think it's important that we understand, where we are and how we got into the situations that we got into with respect to parenting. In terms of relationships and marriages, there are different things that have caused separation, right? And it's very different from one relationship to the other. For some, it's infidelity. For some, it's breakdown in communication, which is often caused by conflict. And I am quite, vast on communication conflict. Um, I don't know if you guys know what we refer to as the four horsemen that causes conflict in relationship. I'll quickly break those four down because it's important that we understand how we got here, aside from the popular things that we know. Now, one of the greatest predictor to a breakdown in relationship is what people call irreconcilable differences. And it starts from communication, right? So we have criticism, that's the first horseman known as criticism. The second one is defensiveness, the third, contempt, and the fourth one, stonewalling. Now, research has stated that when these four are present in relationship and they are left, you know, without us dealing with them, then it will result in a breakdown in marriage and divorce eventually. I know we're looking at co-parenting, but some of the problems that we have seep into co-parenting. Now, this platform is not here, we're not here to resolve your relationship issues. If we have an in-depth understanding to how we got to where we are, then we are able to navigate solutions. And Mr. Akirapo will later on talk us through the shifts, right? So it's important that we understand that interventions from well-meaning family, extended families can cause problems, even though the intention is not. Our spiritual leaders, our friends, these are people that we listen to. Sometimes it's respect, especially for men. Men have issues with respect or honor. Sometimes it's finance, sometimes it's a fear of dominance, sometimes it's poverty, and even lack of a sense of direction. Some couples don't have goals, or one person have goals, the partner doesn't have goals. Sometimes it's a question of leadership, right? Who is actually leading the ship? So these are major problems that we face, and they cause relationship breakdown. And when there's a relationship breakdown, they still affect how we handle our children, or if it's a child that you have. The goal of co-parenting, like I said, is not to resolve your problems, but is to be able to create a sustainable. And I think it's important that if you're taking notes, please do take notes to underline that word sustainable environment for our children, because it's important that our children have a healthy environment to grow in. It's a problem for children, not just in the meantime, but in the future, when parents are doing things haphazardly, or they're trying to resolve the relationship, but they are still communicating in ways that is not helping children's mental well-being. Depending on the age of the child, there are a few things that I want us to note that are important. And these are the things that we will be talking about over and over again. It's important that your child feels safe, both physically and emotionally. It's important that your child grows up in an area, in an environment that is stable. So stability is very important for their psychological well-being. It's important that your child grows in an environment that is predictable. So consistency across the basic routines and expectations are met. So it's important that that is there. So predictability, stability, and safety are key things that are necessary for your child to grow in an environment. We're going to be looking at communication, which is essential. Children need assurance. They need assurance to grow and develop healthily. They need assurance to grow and develop secure attachment styles. Let's go on to the next slide. This is a very popular example. How do we, move from communicating, right? I'm trying to see if I can increase that font a little bit more. How can we get into, can you please read that for me?
All right, give me some minutes. Let me go through that again.
Yeah.
Trying to.
Right, I think you talked about arguing, right? How do we get into arguing? Your fault is my fault, and then we trade words. When we trade words, so when I mentioned the 4 horsemen, I talked about criticism and defensiveness. When you criticize someone, you're telling that person that there's something fundamentally wrong. So when your partner criticizes you, you're inadvertently, they're not making a complaint, but they're criticizing your character, your personality.
Okay.
And when
so
you are
criticized, can I read it now?
No, it's fine. It's fine. I've
okay,
got
it's
it
fine.
now.
You got
Thank
it now.
you very much.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, I do. Thank you. Right. So when you feel criticized in co-parenting, it's like your partner is telling you that how you are parenting your child is wrong. Their way is better than your way. And of course, when you feel criticized, criticism is a way of attack. You will feel like your partner is attacking you. And when you are attacked, what would your response be? The natural response would be defense. You would want to defend yourself, right? And when you defend yourself, what do? You're looking for areas where they have faults. And so we begin to trade faults. And when we are trading faults, we've left the issue that we're trying to resolve, and we're now making it all about ourselves. And when you are defending, you are counterattacking, and it goes into a cyclical loop. And no problem is being solved that way. We're not resolving any problem. We're just causing lots and lots of drama. Imagine yourself, a 7-year-old child, listening to your parents exchanging words. I want you to think of yourself as a 7-year-old listening into your parents trading words. What will go on in your mind as a 7-year-old? You may feel guilty, right? That you are the cause of the problem. That if only I did not have inter-house sports and my parents are now arguing because, maybe I shouldn't tell them when there's another function coming up in school. Maybe I need to be quiet. Maybe I shouldn't tell them that I need another pair of shoes because they would argue and fight over it. Maybe I'm the cause. So it becomes a big issue, a problem, not just for yourselves, but for your child. And that's just one of the major issues that happens when we don't get co-parenting right. The other thing is that we will say nothing. So saying nothing is not also the solution. Saying nothing means that we are doing what we call silent treatment. And silent treatment is the same as stonewalling. That's the 4th horseman that causes a breakdown in communication. Stonewalling is a learned behavior. Oftentimes, our parents did that when we were growing up. there's barely an African, or even not necessarily African, there's barely a human being whose parents stonewall that they, as an adult, don't resolve to stonewall in themselves in their own relationship unless they unlearn those behaviors. So remember, criticism, defensiveness, contempt, and stonewalling are not healthy ways of communication. They actually recreate bad behavior traits in the lives of our children who are living with us. So it's important that we understand how can we co-parent in a different way without these four horsemen. Let's move on to the next slide. We're going to be looking at the different stages, the 3 stages of co-parenting spectrum. But I'm going to be talking a bit more on the first stage, which is conflicted. High conflict and open hostility. We're moving hopefully from conflicted to parallel and then eventually cooperative. That's the agenda. That is our hope, that by the end of this webinar, you would have the tools that you will be able to use to co-parent in a cooperative manner. So let's look at conflicted. Can we please move on to the next slide? Because that breaks it down a little bit more. We're going to be looking at communication from your experience as a parent and the child's experience, and then the primary goal. Remember, I mentioned healthy environment. A conflicted environment is far from healthy. Far from healthy. Because that environment is unpredictable for the child. The child doesn't know whether they're coming or going. They don't know whether when they get home, the environment is going to be okay or if it's going to be hostile. It creates unpredictability in the behavior of the children. And that takes me to the different attachment styles that our children develop when they are growing up in our homes. So whether your partner is living in a completely different home and your children are living with their grandparents and you are living in a different home, where there is conflict, the children stand to develop very insecure, unhealthy attachment styles. What do we mean by attachment styles? Some of us may be familiar with that. So we have emotionally avoidant attachment styles, where the child appears to avoid being close to either parent or their caregiver, which may be their grandparents, family, or friends. We have the ambivalent attachment style, where they seek to be close, but they also resist closeness at the same time. Now, those children who are ambivalent in their attachment style are confused. They ask a lot of questions, but they struggle to focus. Some of them become what we call the class clowns, just because they're trying to seek attention. They are doing things because there's a natural tendency for them to desire closeness, but they are confused because of what they've experienced in the home. And then third attachment style is ambivalent. They seek closeness, right? But they are angry, they are depressed, they struggle to follow directions, and we name them, we give them labels. Oh, that's a stubborn child, that's a difficult child, and we call them names. But what they're doing is actually a cry for attention because of the experiences that they're having, seeing their parents shout, get angry, and these are different things that happen to our child. And some of us already experience these things in our children. It's a cry for them for something better. They're looking and seeking help. And that's why webinars like this are just really, really important, that we not only attend, but we put to practice the tools that will be shared later on. And of course, we have the secure attachment style, which is the desire of every child, of every parent. Every parent wants their children to grow up to become healthy. They want them to be emotionally aware. They want them to be able to make decisions. They want them to grow up to become focused. They want their children, we all want our children to become leaders. But the foundation really, really matters. We don't want our children to be withdrawn. We don't want them to have eating disorders. We don't want them to develop depression. We don't want them to develop anxiety. So it's important that we learn how to communicate in a way that is healthy so that we move from conflicted to parallel and then cooperative parenting. We don't want our children to be withdrawn. Our primary goal here is not for one parent to win the love and attention of a child over the other. That is not the focus. And there are a lot of things that we do that we really need to put a pause on and stop. Right. So what is causing the most conflict, and how do handovers usually feel in your own home? I want you to think about it. If you can, put a note in the chat that this is what's causing the most conflict in my home. And if you don't feel brave or bold enough, you can just make a note of it in your notepad. But please, let's engage. What causes the most conflict? And what are your children exposed to? I also would like you to write down 3 things you believe children need emotionally. I've mentioned some. So if you remember what I had, mentioned, talked about earlier on, write them down. 3 things you believe that children need emotionally to grow healthily. So while you're writing that down, I would take, I'll mention a few other things that's equally important. Right. Conflicted. Are you conflicted? Hostile. Do you react in a way that is negative? Are there boundaries? Do we communicate respectfully? And what are the words that we use when we are angry? What's our body language like when we are angry? Our children learn by observation, not as much as the things you say. They learn by observing you, by watching what you do when you are angry, and they replicate it. In fact, they would replicate it on a higher level, on a higher note. Remember what I said when I asked about our own experience as children we were growing up. You may have observed your mom or your dad when they are angry, grabbing the car keys and just zooming out. Or they will be living in the same environment without having a conversation, without talking to each other. Some of these behavior, we are replicating it even in our own issues. We're doing exactly the same thing. How do we hang over? So boundaries are important. Communicating respectfully as a parent is important. We're not communicating to our partner because of how they've treated us. You are communicating respectfully to your partner because you are a parent, and you are quite aware that your children are observing you. The other question I want you to ask is, am I using my child as an emotional ammunition? Sometimes we say things like, you never respect my time. You're always late. You don't care about how the situation affects me. While you may be right to a certain degree, how you say the same thing matters, because, research says that how a conversation would end is usually determined by the first few seconds of how it started. So when you start using the words you, it's accusatory. The listener would not listen to what you're saying. What they are thinking about cognitively is how they're going to respond or how they're going to counterattack. But when you start with I, you're drawing them in. You want them to listen. So rather than saying you never respect my time, why don't you think of saying the children, or I? They are collected at this time. So please, can you do this? If things change, can you let me know? And then you ask me, what if they do it consistently? There's still another way. There are still better ways of communicating, and we will learn about that later on. Respect is important. Integrity is important. Keeping to time. Handovers should be short and predictable. Do not use your children as a bait, because communication, that's one of the ways you can move from conflict. Don't keep your children, make them a form of ammunition. And I'm going to try and quickly wrap up my session because I'm conscious of time. And then I'll hand over to Mr. Akinrapo. I want to teach us two things. The first one is beef, right? When you're thinking about communication, it's beef. I've spoken about the cost of saying stuff. It's the effect that it would have on our children emotionally, right? When we don't talk in a certain way, it has a negative impact on the psychological status of your child. And even on yourself, because it would deplete your energy. It would deplete the energy of your children. It would deplete them emotionally and relationally, right? And when we have double standards, you want to keep conversations brief. You want it to be informative. You want it to be friendly, and you want it to be fair. I want you to know that. Brief, informative, friendly, and firm. Another effect on your child is the language we use. Bedtimes. If your bedtime is 8 o'clock and they then go and stay with your partner and your partner allows them to stay till 10, in their head at that time, you are the bad cop, your partner is the good cop. If you allow your child screen time during the weekends, but your partner doesn't allow them screen time at all, who is the good cop? Your partner is the bad cop. You who allows them screen time, you're the good cop. But eventually, it's going to create confusion. It's going to create inconsistency, and it's going to create behavior patterns in your child that even you would not like, And the last thing I'm going to share with us is important that we learn how to pause before we respond. It's important that we learn how to communicate in different ways. So I'm going to ask us to please stay tuned. The three things that I asked you earlier on is about the environment that your child needs, or the emotional stability that your children need to grow, is safety. They need stability and they need predictability. So those three things are essential, they're important. And I'm going to invite Mr. Akinrapo to please take us on to the different stages. Thank you very much.
Wow. Thank you, Mrs. Fumi Oni, for that insightful contribution to this. We couldn't have had anything less of your expertise. And I'm so sure this is just a tip of the iceberg of what you are loaded with. So after now, if you are hearing, if you are watching, if you get to watch this, and you have watched it over and over again, and it looks like there are some areas that you quite didn't understand while you are watching this, the replay, just drop a comment on the YouTube while watching this, right? So Mrs. Fumioni will respond to you, and even if it has to be personal, how to reach her, those things will be dropped there for you. So like we promised, we really don't want to waste your time. So we go over to the next line of our work here. The next one says, the shift does not require a perfect co-parent. It requires a perfect framework. So if you've really been following this, over time, since we started this, we've been posting on our social media and the WhatsApp that we created that people shouldn't get it wrong. If you are in co-parents, don't get it wrong. What really matters is not, what does not matter really, is not to make you perfect, to make you a perfect co-parent. What really matters is to make you, and to get to, but requires a perfect framework, is to make you co-parents who are diligent enough, sincere enough, brutally honest with themselves enough on how to create a perfect framework, excellent framework for the well-being of the children. I don't like divorce, I don't like separation, but when it becomes so necessary, and that is why a suggested framework, suggested solution, or suggested concept of co-parent had come to place, right? So we are not also, if you've been following what we've been posting, we are not also promising or try to make you best of friends. No. You don't really want to be best of friends if you don't want to. You don't really want to smile at yourself if you don't want to. You don't really want to come back to marriage again if you don't want to. But where in a case, children have come in it, in the marriage, or where in a case, a child, or where in a case, businesses have come into marriage. We've handled many cases whereby while the marriage was still on, even though children are involved, but while the marriage was still on, there were businesses, husband and wife, when everything was still rosy, they came together, incorporated a company, they have the sharing formula, and the fact that it is legal, right, that business will continue into foreseeable future. Marriage ended, as it were, right? Separation stepped in, or divorce stepped in. What happens to the business that they incorporated together? What happened to that? That is not going to close down, because even when you want to enter into an agreement to close the business down, what happens to your what happens to your clients? What happens to the customers? What happens to those people who already get used to your product? What happens to them? Right? So you may not necessarily come together, be a good friend. You may not necessarily be a good friend, but it is your responsibility to really have a good framework. What to work with. It is your responsibility to work that out. And that is what we promise everyone who has come here today to watch this, or watching us now, or who are still going to watch this later. So the first mind sheet we're going to give you, shift 1 is your mindset. You want to work from adversary to business partner, as it is now in the new arrangement. We want to work from adversary to business partner. What are the components involved in adversary? Emotional is there, reactive is there, personal is there. You are probably going to get personal in it. In the earlier video I posted here on my YouTube, after now, you can go and watch over it again. I presented 10 different episodes of major challenges that don't really make co-parenting work. Major challenges that hinder co-parenting. So emotional, reactive, personal, these are one of them. Why? Because if there had been emotional bottle up in marriage before divorce, if there has been reactiveness when the father speaks or mother speaks, instead for the other partner to respond, they become reactive. If those things had always happened while the marriage was on, they would definitely be landmines, even after the marriage, after the separation, while co-parenting is being worked out. These challenges, if not solved, will sabotage the effort of co-parenting. And that is why you are moving from business, you are moving from adversary to business partner. As a business partner, you don't need to like the face of your business partner. Well, maybe some really want to like the face of the business partner they want to work with. You don't really want to like some things about your business partner, but the question remains, does your business partner have all what it takes to move the business forward? Does your business have what it takes? Does it have what it takes to complement the values that you hold dear to your heart? So if your business partner has that, what's stopping you from going ahead, right? Don't forget, in this shift one, while we are working this, the first mindset, you are moving from adversary to business partner. It's not going to be easy as it appears here. Instead, when the gloves are off, you want to do this, you want to fight, you are moving from that to working together. You are resetting your mind. So a lot will have to come into play. You have to drop some attributes of the first mindset of being an adversary to build another attribute of being a business partner. Let me create this scenario now. In this partnership, your product is your child's well-being. You are forming a new partner, a new business now. Now for this, if 2 people or 3 people or 4 people, let's limit to 2 people, if they are coming together to form a business partner, a lot of stuff will have to come into play. You want to get a lawyer, no matter how, regardless of how valuable or how good the partners are, they don't leave anything to chances because of what? They want to give the public invaluable products. They want their products to be top-notch. They don't want to play with the products. No, so a partner in business, a business partner will be looking for another business partner that has what it takes to move the product forward. For instance, if you want to go into FMCG rather, I'm sorry about that, fast-moving consumable goods. If you want to move in there, you have your feasibility study, you had it carried out, you have everything, you know who you are benchmarking, you know who is benchmarking you, you know who you don't want to, you know a standard of those who are already in that business, and you don't want to fall below the standard. You want to maintain that as standard. If possible, you really want to outsmart them. So you want to know what they are doing right, and you want to know what they are doing wrong, then you want to plug in, just to ensure the product that you are giving the society, the service that you are giving the society is top-notch. It's not a service that is deficient. It's not a product that is deficient. It's not a bad product. It's a product that is compliant with the regulatory body. For instance, say NAFDAC. So the same way, the children are your product. The children are your product. You don't want to allow your product to grow up with emotional laden adults. You don't want them to grow up to become emotionally laden adults, or to become emotionally brittle adults, or to become adults who is still living, or adults who are living with a trauma of their child, with a childhood trauma caused by their parents when they separated. You don't want any of your children to be bad products to the society. Don't forget, hurting people hurt others. Hurting people hurt others. If children from a dissolved marriage or traumatic marriage, if they grow up and they see the way their parents, their former parents who were in former marriage, the way they've behaved, they would necessarily think, ordinarily think, naturally think, right, that this is the best way to behave. This is how my dad used to behave. This is how my mom used to behave, though they separated. So there are consequences, both intentional and unintentional consequences in this. And you don't want your product, your child, your children to grow up with those emotional trauma. That is why you need to move from adversary to business partner. I've painted that scenario. That partners don't really like to business partners don't really like to like their faces. I'm into businesses and I've handled some businesses with some people. You don't need to like the face of the person that you want to work with. You don't need to like the face of the person, but you have a product that you want to bring out. You have a product you want to bring out. So it's your responsibility to look deep into what that partner has. Does it have anything to complement mine? So in co-parenting also, I have seen many co-parents that they were not good. They didn't have all what it takes to make marriage work, but they have all what it takes individually to make co-parenting work. And I've heard in many cases where some people would think because some people failed in marriage, they will not be able to raise quality children. It is not so. Success in marriage has its own set skill. And the same way, success in co-parenting has its own set skill. And that is why we said to business partner, you are dealing with this like a business partner. So let's move forward. Shift number 2, communication from reacting to responding. Many of us react instead of responding. In that my old video, communication is one of the challenges. The way a partner interprets or a communication style of a partner will always, a dominant communication style of a partner will naturally depend, or rather, let me put it this way, the dominant communication style of a partner will see a communication of another partner through the eye of his own dominant communication style. If you are an avoidant as a partner, if that has been the case while the marriage was still on, you are naturally going to be the same, even in co-parenting. So for instance, you are always late. You don't care about the kids. Get that right. You are always late. You don't care about the kids. The response, when drop-offs run late, it throws off our evening routine. Can we agree on a 5 minutes grace period and text if we are running behind? Right? This is someone who is talking like a business partner. The first message is from a fiery person, it's from somebody who was always fighting. This statement was made from advisory point of view. You are always late. You don't care about the kids. If the other person really wanted to come from adversary state, what do you think? He wouldn't respond, or she wouldn't respond. She will react based on what the other partner had set up, has said. But look at the response here. Perfect response. And the partner responded well. When drop-offs run late, it throws our evening routine. Can we agree on a 5-minute grace period and text if we are running behind? Is there anything wrong in this? There is nothing wrong. Don't forget, like I did say, if there is a challenge in communication during the marriage, the challenge in communication during the marriage will become landmines during co-parenting. If there was a trust issue during the marriage and they've not been able to resolve that, the trust issue will turn to landmines during co-parenting. That is why you are always late. You don't care about the kids. What will come naturally to the mind of the person, of either of the partners who said this, is what this man or what this woman used to do that I complained about, that I was always late while the marriage existed, is the same thing that this man is doing or this woman is doing during co-parenting. That is a challenge here, right? Let's move forward. The shift number 3. This is where we need to create solution. Look at this. Shift 3, structure from chaos to clarity. From chaos to clarity. The summer co-parenting schedule template. So we are giving you free templates now. This is something that you could have paid for hugely, but we are dropping this free. This is just a tip of the iceberg of what we have for you in this webinar. It's a new order, something that we have run with about 6 different co-parents. And 4 of them, we've had good report about them. 2 of them, we are still waiting the report. So they have clean bill of health on what co-parenting is all about. If someone has used something repeatedly for 4 years and there is a resounding success, what do you wait for again? Right? So this structure works. You can adapt it or adopt it. It depends on how it works with your schedule. Precise drop-off. There has to be a schedule. Number 1, time and location. Then designated vacation blocks. Venue, where we're going to be meeting. Clear assignment of camps and activities. Protocol for unexpected changes. You create scenarios. Should this happen, what will happen? What are we going to do? Should unexpected happen, what are we going to do? All this, you need to work it out. When you work all this out, then you have moved from adversary to business partners. Don't forget, business partners are concerned about their products on how to maximize their contribution. The first one is about their products. Then again, as business partners in co-parenting, I did say your products are your children. No manufacturers, no business partners will not want to do anything, will not want to spend any amount, will not want to exert all their energies in bringing out what? Good products to the market. When a product is not good, people will not talk about the product, they talk about the manufacturers. And that is what every one of us should get concerned about here. Protect your peace by putting everything in writing. That is rule number 1. protect your peace by putting everything in writing. Putting everything in writing is not about trust issue. When your partner feels that, why are you recording? Why are you writing everything? You just let your partner know, I am putting it in writing so that I want to protect our peace, or I want to protect my peace, so that I will not forget what we have agreed today. Because it's possible the response, the message from the partner, when another partner feels that you are recording, it could be like, man, do you want to use this thing against me, or what are you trying to do? But you are not reacting, you are responding. I am writing this down so that I want to protect my peace. I can easily forget stuff, but I don't want to forget. So we move to the gap, knowing versus doing. Knowing versus doing. In between this, the webinar is knowing the 3 stages: the mindset shift, the script, then reality, consistent peace, and cooperative execution. So in between these gaps, there are what we call survival mode and triggers. Before you could be able to cross from what you have learned today to reality, there are survival modes. Survival mode and triggers. What are they? Let me cite this one example again. What we are doing today is just an event. An event is something that does not really happen often or happens every day. That is why it is called an event. Maybe once a week, once in 2 weeks, once in 3 weeks, or once in a month, or even once a year. But where the work really is process. An event is exciting. People get excited about an event. That's why it is not out of place that you see many people trying to rush for a webinar. Oh, I'm in. See, if you are in, send this, I'm in. Excitement is there because everybody just wants to be part of that event. But in making that event work, in making what you have learned in that event work, is where the reality is. Consistent peace and cooperative execution. So part of survival mode and triggers is what you need to work about. What you have recorded, of what you have jotted down, what you have written down, how consistent are you in ensuring that everything you have recorded, you've written down, really work? How do you now do this? Let me introduce the plan for you. The plan is introducing the Parallel to Partner program, your engineered bridge from parallel to partner, real scripts, real systems, and real accountability. How does this work? The Parallel to Partner program really means that you want to cross from one bridge to the other. You want to move from an event, right? You want to move from an event to a process. It takes a lot of dedication, takes a lot of seriousness, and takes a lot of responsibility to be able to do that. It takes a lot of quality character, competence, and capacity to want to make it work. Like I always tell people, either in a private consulting room or even openly in webinar here, no one goes into any business. That's why it is easier for us, so that we can easily remember what we have learned today. So that's why it is easier for us to use our business partners as a model, as a metaphor, to drive home this the content of this webinar. No one goes into any business unprepared. I have gone into businesses unprepared before and I've burnt my fingers. The only thing, I think I burnt almost everything. The only thing I didn't burn about my life is my life itself. burn my fingers, my leg, my stuff, because I went into that business unprepared. The excitement is just there. Oh, I want to do this business. Oh, it's working. I love to provide solutions for people. I don't like people going through this stuff. I want to do it. But unprepared to the extent that the only thing that excited me is just the passion. The only thing that excited me is just the passion. How to convert that passion to profitability was lacking. And I don't think I want to do that again. The same way, you don't want to do that. When you want to go into a co-parenting business, right? You need to get ready. You need to equip yourself with knowledge, with skills, with character, competence, with capacity, so that people will not be saying, no wonder. Now, let me say this clearly. I don't want you to get bothered about what people say. Bystander stories don't really make sense, and they must not be the reason why we want to change. Bystanders effect must not be the reason why we want quality parenting for our children. Bystanders effect must not be strong reasons why you want the co-parenting to work. But nonetheless, we still want to ensure, regardless of the seemingly failure I had in marriage, I will not allow that to affect the way I want to parent my children. Regardless of what I saw my partner do while the marriage existed, right? Regardless of that, regardless of some issues, challenges I had we had together, we are going to make this work, just to ensure that the children we have brought into this marriage do not inherit the challenges they were never part of. They will not inherit trauma they were never part of. So on the strength of this, we introduce this module to you. The module is parallel to partner. It is a welcoming, practical introduction to the journey of being a new or expectant father, designed for first-time dads and those in the early stages of fatherhood or motherhood, or in any way they want to find themselves. So when you look at co-parenting, you are likely going to find some people, the first 5 years, anyone that is in co-parenting, any father that is in co-parenting for the first 5 years, of course, is a new dad or a new mother in co-parenting. And those ones that we have handled, you hardly see anyone even above 10 years having challenges about co-parenting. Maybe experiences, what is this again? Experiencing maturity had taken place, had overtaken them, had really done a great work in them, and they feel that they are not going to make any issue out of it. They can easily work it through among themselves. But we did have some young ones, right, who don't have that competence and character and capacity to make this work. So that is why we brought out this together for us. The investment is 550,000 naira. Dollars, $400, then pounds, $290. How does this work? Or rather, what do you stand to gain? For the purpose of people who may be watching this thereafter, we're going to leave this promo for the next 4 days. For the next 4 days. Anyone who sends a message to us, maybe the person just sent a message to the to the YouTube, the comment section on the YouTube that you are in, that you want to do that. Once you are ready to make 50% drop of the investment. So here is 550,000 naira, and you are ready to drop like 250 or $400. You are ready to drop $200. 290, you are ready to drop about 140 thereabout, or 140 or 145 thereabout. When you are able to drop to drop 50% of what we have here for the next 4 days, you can be so sure that 25% is off. So what that means is what you are going to pay later is just 25%. Once you are able to drop 50% of the amount that we have here, then consider 25% off-took by us. We have taken over the remaining 25%. Now let's share with you the modules of this parallel to partner model of co-parenting. So module one, you have co-parenting mindset. This is the blueprint we are presenting to you. The co-parenting mindset reset. In that YouTube, after now, you may just get to go and watch it. I highlighted there, when marriage is dissolved or when separation comes in, the first thing you rush to do is not co-parenting. It's not co-parenting. If after a divorce or after separation, let me stay with separation now, but the divorce is a strong word, and divorce doesn't really take place. The final deal on divorce doesn't really take place until some maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 years, as the state permits, right? So let's stay with separation, or let's stay with living separately or living apart, right? So the module one is the co-parenting mindset reset. You need to reset your mindset about co-parenting, because if you rush into co-parenting immediately after separation, or immediately when you begin to live apart, you rush into co-parenting without, first of all, solved some issues that led to separation. If you don't resolve the issue that led to separation, you are necessarily going to sabotage the success of co-parenting. Then one of the issues that led to separation is trust. One of the issues is communication style. One of the issues is involving and third parties. Third parties could be friends, could be parents of either of the party. You are allowing the influence of the third party to rule your marriage. When those ones have not been really resolved, co-parenting will not succeed, because you are going to be seeing the activities in co-parenting through the lens of what happened. So in the first module, the co-parenting mindset, we're going to give you a good mindset, how to reset yourself. So you are detaching yourself from emotional triggers. You are detaching yourself from emotional triggers. You are moving from reactive to responding. Module 2, the communication vault. The communication vault, plug and play scripts for every scenario. Don't forget, initially I said our modules are not, we don't have one module that one size fits all. No. We have 5 different modules that we work with different co-parents. What we first do is to do assessment. Your assessment will fit in into already made module. It means partners A and B, the module partners that fit partners A and B, right, may not necessarily be the modules that will fit partner C and D. It depends on the result from their what? From their assessment. So that is why script will be different. Module number 3, the schedule blueprint. The schedule blueprint, templates and negotiation guides for summer and holidays. If there was a trust issue when the marriage was on, it's going to be difficult here. The schedule is going to be difficult. The templates and negotiation guides for summer holidays, where the children want to go, where you want to go at that particular time of the period. Module 4, handling the difficult co-parents, strategies for when they won't meet you halfway. Strategies that will give you the ready-made. You are ready. They're not going to meet you halfway. It means in everything that you do, you already have all your structures mapped out. The two of you, you're going to have the structure that you are working with. The structure you are working with, the structure that ensures what you really want to do is not something that just comes from the blues. It's something that the two of you had worked together with. It's something that your partner has agreed with. It's something that your partner has agreed with. No one is just caught unaware. You are not caught unaware on everything that you want to do. So these are what these modules will fetch you. So if anyone is interested in doing this, just shoot us a mail. I'm going to put the mail, the phone number, the mail here. Just let us know how you can be part of this. Enough is enough of trying to allow or align our childhood trauma, our marital trauma to have effect, bad effect on our children, right? So we move to the next stage now, and we are completing this. We are completing this. No, this one has been handled. The last one is what we need to agree on now. So let us think. Do you really want to join the program? If you really want to join the program, let us know what you have to say about this. Number 1, having watched this, do you want to stay exactly where you are? You still want to continue to feel perpetually drained and stuck? You don't want to allow, do you want to allow the effect of the marriage that didn't work, as it were, to affect the way you want to raise your children? Or you want to attempt to figure it out alone, wasting years on trial and error? Or you want to start the shift today with a proven framework? The choice is yours. So we all have what it takes. There is nothing, like excuses again. In this day, knowledge is increasing. Research is increasing about how to make parenting work, about how to make marriage work, about how to make fatherhood work. Don't forget, no society, no town, no country, no community is insusceptible of the larger influence of the challenges of the society. Let me take that again. No man, no family is immune from the larger influence of what the society is predominantly known for. The children, the product we are churning out for the society are going to be used by another family. What is it that we want to do? We must not have any excuse to churning or to producing or to manufacturing bad products to the society. Don't forget, family is a production unit of the society. Somebody said it sometimes ago, if the kings that we have today are not doing the right thing, today is the next available time, opportunity to begin to raise another kings that will change the effect of our country, that will change the effect of the world for the better. The choice is yours. I ran a research sometimes ago about the issues with those people, those children that we find in cells all over the world. The empirical figure is damning. Top on the list of those children there are the children that parents are not staying together. I don't want to unveil other layers of those parents, of what I found on those parents that are not, the children of those parents that are not staying together. I don't want to go into that details. Otherwise, we will not live here today. Maybe I leave that with another time. We're going to have a webinar here. So also, I want us to have this. If you know you are interested in the offer that we just shared, just shoot us a mail. You have another option. If you know that, oh, your own is just to like, you want to belong, you just want to belong to the group. We have a group where we share insightful contents, you know, where we encourage ourselves about parenting, about co-parents, about how to be great fathers. You can join our WhatsApp group. I'm going to share the link with us here on how to join it. Just click, then you are in. No one is going to harass you. On this WhatsApp group, it is free to join it. It is free to join. But you can be rest assured that questions you ask about co-parenting, questions you ask about other areas in parenting, fatherhood, family life, we're going to be, you know, a few tips. You're going to be having it. But I would love you to subscribe to this personal engagement, one-on-one engagement on co-parenting, which is 550,000 naira. But if you pay 50% between now and the next 3-4 days, you are only going to pay 25% left. The remaining 25% is being borne by us. So in rounding off, I want to appreciate everyone who had come here to be part of this webinar. We are not taking your time for granted. We thank you, we honor you, we appreciate you. Don't forget, you can visit the YouTube after now. This message is still going to be there. Share it with people. Let them really have, knowledge about what you have heard now. So I want to bring, oh, Mrs. Oni is already on. So Miss Oni, please give us a parting shot.
Well, thank you so much for the insightful teachings that you've shared this evening, and you know, the relatable examples as well that you have used. And I want to believe that it's been helpful I want to believe that we are able to take away one or two nuggets that will really help our co-parenting um, skills. Yes, so please avail yourself of the different offers that have been made. And I want to also appreciate Ms. Akram. Thank you so much for the privilege to share that you have given to me. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So we are ending this webinar. I want to appreciate you once again for coming. We're not taking you for granted. Please shoot us a mail, send us a message. You want to connect with any one of us, you have any question you want to ask about co-parents, we want co-parenting to succeed. We want co-parenting to succeed just because of what the moments the two of you have shared together, and one of those moments are the children that you have brought into the family. One of those great moments, again, are the businesses you have brought into the family. We have another faculty that can deal with that. If businesses are involved, just let us know. So thank you. Thank you.